Syria's armed forces are preparing a counteroffensive after rebel forces took over large parts of Aleppo.
Thessaloniki, Greece's second largest city, gets a new metro, whose first construction began about 38 years ago.
Syria's armed forces confirmed on Saturday that rebel troops managed to take over large parts of Aleppo, killing dozens of soldiers, and is preparing for a counterattack. In a major setback for President Assad, thousands of Syrian insurgents broke through government defense lines in Aleppo on Friday, facing little resistance from government troops. The surprise attack was led by Islamist rebels, jolting the front lines of the Syrian civil war that began in 2011. It was the first time government troops battled rebels in Syria's largest city since 2016, when President Assad regained control of the city. The insurgents entered Aleppo's western neighborhood after taking control of dozens of villages south of the city since Wednesday. They were seen tearing down posters of Assad, stepping on some and burning others. Friday's push into Aleppo followed weeks of low-level violence, including government attacks on opposition-held areas.
Thousands of people have protested for a second night against the Georgian government's decision to suspend European Union accession negotiations. Protesters swarmed the parliament in the capital Tbilisi, with some trying to break the metal gates to the building. Riot police used tear gas and pepper spray to push protesters back. That elicited an angry response from the country's pro-EU president Salome Zurabishvili, who called it Russian-style repression in a post on X. The ruling Georgian Dream's victory in October's elections sparked massive demonstrations, with the opposition claiming the vote was rigged. That led EU lawmakers to press for a rerun under international supervision. But Georgia's Prime Minister Irakli Kobakidze hit back, accusing the EU of blackmail, and suspended accession talks until 2028. The EU granted Georgia candidate country status in December 2023.
Chancellor Scholz's Social Democrat Party kicked off the election campaign on Saturday with the so-called Victory Conference. With only 85 days remaining until Germany's snap elections, Scholz positioned the SPD as the only party for the people and heavily criticised the CDU, who are currently leading in the polls. The Chancellor promised to protect jobs and distance Germany from the EU regarding electric vehicles and urged negotiations with China over tariffs. Whilst the mood amongst SPD members was jubilant, Defence Minister Pistorius was not at the conference. Despite the party's social media team coming under fire for its aggressive campaign, it seems that the party has now gone on the offensive in a bid to hold on to votes, with the CDU and AfD parties leading in Germany's latest polls. Liv Stroud, in Berlin, for Euronews.
A new metro's first construction began about 38 years ago has been inaugurated in Thessaloniki, Greece's second largest city. The 9.6-kilometer inaugural line, using driverless trains across 13 stations, was officially opened on Saturday by Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis.
Σήμερα άλλωστε μιλάει από μόνο του το ίδιο το έργο, το ίδιο το μετρό, το πιο σύγχρονο της Ευρώπης, όπως αξίζει στη Θεσσαλονίκη. Για να το πω διαφορετικά, το είπαμε και το κάναμε. Ένα σύμβολο προόδου της Μακεδονίας και ολόκληρης της Ελλάδος.
Greek officials say the public will be able to use the metro for 4 days completely free of charge. The Thessaloniki metro was first conceived more than a century ago, and the first tunnel was dug in 1986.
The European Commission has approved a package proposed for the German flag carrier Lufthansa to acquire a minority stake in Italy's ITA Airways. Lufthansa won EU antitrust approval in July to buy 41% of state-owned ITA. The deal is worth €325 million and is aimed at boosting the Italian airline's presence in the lucrative southern European market. The Italian Economy Ministry had to commit to allow competitors such as EasyJet to operate more routes from Italy.